You're listening to Podcast PXN, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo. Let's do this. What's up, guys? Welcome to Podcast PXN, episode 69. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM on Twitter, and I am joined over Discord by the pride of PlayStation, Sean Babiak, and the Nintendo aficionado, Roro. Roro, who the heck is this other guy that's in here?
I don't know. How did he get in here?
Isn't it kind of funny? The first episode I come back to is episode 69.
Nice.
Oh, gosh.
It kind of is. It kind of is. Okay.
Roro, I think we're getting Zoom bombed. I think we need to just block that one right there. Thank you to everyone watching us live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube. Just search Podcast PXN and you will find us on there. And now simultaneously live on twitch.tv/podcastpxn as well. The topic of the show this week is all the news on Lucasfilm Games creation and what we want to see from them. But first, the show always starts with the PXN news of the week. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Guys, the first item on the news of the week is the official website for the Killzone franchise has been retired, but doesn't impact multiplayer in Killzone games. So apparently, essentially, they're just taking down the website, and I guess there's like clans or something like that in Killzone Shadowfall that those will be going away with this transition. But essentially now, if you go to Killzone.com, it redirects you to PlayStation.com. So, Roro, start with you. Do you think that this is the end of the Killzone franchise?
It doesn't look good, I guess. To retire the website completely is kind of worrisome. I hope it is, honestly. I would like to see Guerrilla move away from the franchise and continue with Horizon and hopefully new IPs in the future. I'm surprised that multiplayer is still going on, that they didn't get rid of the servers yet. And it's cool that they're still supporting it, but I was honestly surprised to hear that even. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where they go from here with the Killzone franchise. I don't know if I don't know if it's really something that people are clamoring for, but I'm sure there's some fans out there. Like I said, people are still playing the multiplayer apparently, so I'm sure they're out there, but not a huge shocker to me though.
Yeah. Sean, big Killzone fan?
I enjoyed 1, 3, Mercenary, and Shadowfall.
Oh.
2 I was not a huge fan of. 1 I only loved because it like broke everyone's PS2. It was so much more advanced than the PS2 could handle at that time. Like it loaded every like 10 steps. There was so much going on. Like it was like one of the first FPS that I felt like you truly were, I guess, holding a weapon, because like whenever you reloaded, you saw like very, very detailed reload stuff going on. Like I feel like Halo really kind of comes to mind when I think of like what's the first FPS I saw when it came to like reloading a weapon or anything like that, like the Needler. That always like kind of sparks in my mind. But when you reloaded like a machine gun in Killzone, you like saw every bullet kind of going in and everything, and it was just really cool to see that power. And Mercenary was great on the Vita. It really was. It was one of the top 10 Vita games in my opinion. And Shadowfall, yeah, and Shadowfall was actually a very good launch game. It's just that series just never took off. They always wanted it to be I think they wanted to sell it as a Halo killer, and that's not what they ever should have gone for. I think they actually found their footing when it came to Shadowfall, but then obviously Horizon is just far above and beyond what people wanted, more so than another Killzone. I'd actually be better off if Insomniac in some way brought back Resistance. I love the second and third of those games, especially the multiplayer. But I mean, maybe somebody will take over Killzone. I think it's just leave it be. There's some franchises that you can retire that can be retired. That's fine.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. It's definitely signaling the end of the franchise by them killing the website, because like why else would you just eliminate the website? Like I don't know. It's not that costly to just run a website because you just have to own the domain name and you already have the website built. So it's not like you have to constantly change it. So I definitely agree. It'll at least be a while until we get anything from them. But moving on to the next news story, Rust is coming to Xbox One and PS4 after being rated by the ESRB. So I feel like we are kind of in this weird spot right now that we're getting new games that are coming out that are coming exclusively to last gen consoles now. And it's such a weird position because like we can still play these games on the new gen consoles, but it's like that's not going to be, optimized for those systems. So I guess my question is kind of twofold. Like, obviously, I know neither of you have really played Rust a significant amount or anything. So I was wondering if this would interest either of you. And the second kind of question is like, should they wait to release this until like next gen versions are ready? Or I don't know. Do you guys think this is a kind of an interesting idea for Rust?
It's nothing that interests me, to be honest with you. I do like watching some of the clips online and stuff like that. I think that stuff's funny. And I actually liked hearing your stories, Daniel, when you were playing it. Maybe about 6 months ago or so.
Yeah.
But it's just not a game. It's like Fallout. That just there's certain games that just don't interest me at all. I can appreciate what they do. I think it's weird that they're announcing PS4 and Xbox One versions. Only because I get it, their install base is there. But like, I don't know. I feel like at this point, I'm sorry, but that's last gen. We're on current gen now. So I don't know. Maybe you can maybe say all four, or I guess all 5 or 6. Who knows at this point. But I just thought that was a weird PR move to not say PS5 and Xbox Series X and S.
Yeah, I agree. Rust is something that I haven't played either. It coming to the consoles definitely interests me, even though I have a PC. But sometimes, as we've discussed on the show, sometimes it doesn't work out so well because of what I do have. So it coming to consoles is better for me anyway. But I realized that it's getting more popular again, so I kind of wanted to try it out. But yeah, it coming to PS4 instead of PS5 instead of Xbox Series is weird. But like you were saying, you can still play it on those consoles, and they can still do like an upgrade later down the line. So they could always announce, "Hey, we're doing an upgrade later," and people can still play there. So it is weird that that's what they're advertising. But if it's not ready, then I don't think they had to wait, especially if you still can play it on the console still.
Yeah, I agree completely. And Rust isn't like a gorgeous game or anything. It's, I mean, for the most part, it's kind of I don't know. I don't want to say ugly game, but it's kind of, rough around the edges. So, but yeah, I think I would be excited to see like you try out Rust, Roro, and see what your thoughts are. Like, just if you're streaming it or something. I think that's the most interesting thing about Rust. Like, everyone has a different experience with it, and like there's certain moments that you're like, wow, that's super cool, or that's funny, or I don't know. It's just weird, quirky things that happen, and everyone's experience is kind of different with it. So I don't know. Moving on to the next news story, guys. Mass Effect Legendary Edition will seemingly release on March 12th, 2021. I'm pretty sure we are getting a very, very good first part of 2021, Q1 2021, from all of the delays that happened last year. We're getting the medium. Is the Ascent coming Q1 still? I think
they haven't announced the new date, but we still got Resident Evil 8.
Yeah. That's not coming Q1, right? Is it?
I thought it was. I'll look it up real quick.
Okay. But at any rate, this is coming March 12th, very soon. If this is true, obviously this isn't confirmed or anything, but that would make sense because Mass Effect 2, I know, released in March, I believe, and Mass Effect 3 as well. So it's kind of lining up with that time frame. I just hope that this is good because I want to experience the trilogy again, and like for new people to experience it like you guys, I think that would be awesome to experience it new or sooner rather than later. So yeah, this would be great to fill in like the early summer months, I guess, when we get to that point. Are you guys excited to play this?
Definitely excited to. As you said, I'm new to the franchise. Heard amazing things. Definitely excited to play it in this collection, and it being like you said, a more hopefully an improved version of what they have on Steam and whatever. Because I've been holding off every time I see it on Steam. Like, should I just go for it? I gotta be strong. Gotta wait. So I'm excited to play when it finally arrives. Hopefully in March.
And Sean will never get you to play it.
More than likely. Now, I only say that because next gen has, or I guess now current gen has now greatly increased my backlog at this point. Like it's beyond anything that I can even anticipate on what I'm going to get to next. I mean, my most excited game right now is Ratchet and Clank. So if Ratchet and Clank somehow gets a release date at that time, probably not. But more than likely not, no matter what.
Which is fair. And if the Ascent comes out the same day, I'm sure that's going to be above it.
Ooh, that was my Xbox Next Gen game. So you're 100%
right. Moving on, guys, to some Nintendo news. Nintendo has revealed a new Mario Red and Blue edition of the Switch, which this is the first time to change the screen color. So the bezel and the back of the screen portion of the console is actually red and blue, which finally, like, why did this take so long? We're now 4 years into the Switch life cycle, but yes, the colors look amazing. That bright red color, oh, that looks so good. I wish I didn't already
That's the one that I wanted, dude. That's the red is what stood out to me. I thought that looked so cool.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. And like, does this mean we're not getting a Switch Pro? Like, where is that at?
Yeah, I would not hold your breath on that one right now.
I hope we still get one. I don't think them making a special edition console necessarily rules that out, but it doesn't help the fact, I guess, because they made the Animal Crossing one, they made the Fortnite one. I guess that you could, if you could even call that a special edition one. But yeah, I just really hope that they do make a Pros. Probably not this year or anytime soon, but I don't want to rule it out just yet. But the new Switch looks awesome. I love it. I love the bright red. The dock is bright red too. Everything about it is awesome. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm a huge Mario person. I know it's going to be our next news story. I won't lie though, I would be more inclined with just like kind of my gaming is if it's somehow a Link Green, more so than a Mario Red. That Wii U that came out many years ago, that was the Wind Waker Special Edition. That was really cool. And that was like the only Wii U iteration that they did as far as any type of thing. So hopefully it's not the case with this. But I'm in that mindset too, as far as what Roro was just saying. Like, I don't think the Switch Pro is coming out this year. I do think it's coming. But I have no reason to buy a new Switch at this point when most of us got decent sized memory cards, and
yeah,
like mine's I think 256 gigabytes or something like that, which is a huge amount of space. I mean, Breath of the Wild is still like basically the biggest game I own. So it's like I don't really have to worry too much about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And you were saying, Sean, about the Zelda Green Switch. Isn't this year like an anniversary for Zelda in some ways?
I thought it was the 35th, right? Or am I thinking something else right now?
That's Mario. I thought that was
I think Mario. There is it's 35th anniversary for Zelda this year too, actually. Last year was
Mario.
Last year was Mario.
Yeah, last year was Mario.
So maybe we'll get something for Zelda. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, 1,000%. This is the year that we'll get Breath of the Wild too. So the only thing I could think of, and maybe this is where that goes, is the possibility of a launch game with the Switch Pro, because they have history of doing that. What was the game that launched with the 3DS or the new 3DS? I think it was like a Fire Emblem or something like that. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I'm not sure. You're talking to the wrong person here, Sean. I have no idea. Our Nintendo aficionado is gonna look it up right now.
So I don't know if I'll be able to find. I remember it being. I think Fire Emblem sounds familiar, and I know the Zelda games like Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time use a little thumbstick as well.
Yes, the remaster of Ocarina.
I don't know if they launched with it though. Yeah. I don't remember.
I don't know.
I know at least Majora's Mask wasn't, because I own Majora's Mask on the original 3DS.
So can we just make this year the year of Zelda? Can that just happen? Like, we had the year of Luigi, the year of Mario.
It was Fire Emblem.
Okay. There we go.
But no, I would totally be down with that. I mean, obviously we got, Mario, whatever the launch game, or not the launch game, that party Mario game ends here in like 8 weeks, but I would be okay with some sort of Zelda maker. I mean, that's been teased for years, or rumored to be teased for years, that we could get that. I don't see them doing 2 Zelda games in 1 year unless they would do a remaster along with Breath of the Wild.
True. So Sean, you alluded to this a little bit ago. Our next news story, Super Mario 3D World, Bowser's Fury, gave us a first look at it, and it looks pretty epic, which, to be honest, I think Super Mario 3D World is like almost like a blind spot for me. I played it and beat it, but like watching this new stuff with Bowser's Fury, I feel like I never even played the game before. It looks so different.
You have Mario going like Super Saiyan now.
Yeah.
I can't remember I think they call it Fury mode or something like that, but it's just like, oh, it's Goku in a cat suit.
Yeah. So I hope this little expansion, or whatever you want to call it, is going to add like a ton to the game, and like I may pick this up on day one just to kind of get something to play on the Switch again. Although I say that, and I haven't even opened Super Mario 3D Anniversary, or All Stars, not Anniversary. I'm saying they're completely wrong things. But I think it would be cool to jump back into this, and it comes out on the best day of the year, guys, February 12th. My birthday.
No.
So.
What day? Is that the day that Halo Infinite comes out finally? Oh, no.
Okay, that might be the best day of 2021, but the best day in general.
January 20th, I agree.
No. All right. So what do you got? Are you guys excited to jump back into Super Mario 3D World? Or
I am super excited. Very excited. After watching the trailer, it got me even more excited for it. I loved the Wii U game, the base game, so I'm excited to play that over again. Had a lot of fun playing the co-op with my sister back in the day, so hopefully we'll be able to do that again, especially with it being online. Don't even have to be in the same room anymore. And Bowser's Fury, I hope it's a lot. I feel like it's not going to be as expansive as some people might think, but I'm definitely excited to play it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is our last Wii U game in my mind that needed to come over. It's a no-brainer that this is gonna do, in my mind, very well. It's a game that a lot of people miss because there wasn't that much buy-in when it came to the Wii U. But I kind of agree with you, Roro, as far as like I would not expect a giant expansion. First off, that game is actually pretty big as it is. With all these secrets and the actual like platforming it takes to get everything for that. So I mean, you already have a pretty expansive game to begin with, but it looks great. It really does. Like, it actually looks like a game. I primarily play my Switch in handheld, but it really seems like it's something that I want to probably play docked just because of how it looks. Which is weird to say because I feel like I don't know, just it's always my feeling that if you have a Switch, for the most part, you probably play it in handheld mode.
That's how I play it 99%.
Me too. I'm always shocked when people say I play the Switch 90% docked. I'm like, what? No way.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Those are the people that pour the milk in before the cereal.
Oh, those people. Ugh. Roro, you don't do that, do you?
No, I don't. No.
Okay, there we go.
I play my Switch handheld. Of course I don't.
Perfect. All right. All All right, moving on to our next story. IO Interactive has announced all 6 locations that Agent 47 will be visiting in Hitman 3. The locations are Dubai, Dartmoor, United Kingdom, Berlin, Germany, Chongqing, China. I probably butchered that. Mendoza, Argentina, and Carpathian Mountains, Romania. Just looking at the screenshots of each of these locations, I absolutely love how completely different each area is. Like, it has a completely different theme to each area. You've got Dubai, which is like in the sky on the gigantic tower, which is awesome. You have Dartmoor, United Kingdom, that looks like a freaking spooky area, like a spooky, I don't know. It just looks like a spooky mansion. You have Berlin, Germany, which kind of looks like you're on the streets with some graffiti. It looks kind of cool. You've got Chongqing, China, that looks like it's almost like Cyberpunk-esque with all the neon street lights and all of that. You have Mendoza, Argentina, which looks like a freaking beautiful like landscape. Like, I don't know, it just looks amazing. And then you have Carpathian Mountains, Romania, that just looks like a crazy blizzard's going on there. So I love how diverse this is, and I'm very excited to play this. And this is another game coming out very soon. Have I convinced you guys yet to play this game?
When it's a PS Plus game, yes. What? The Hitman series, I have dabbled in a decent amount of the games, actually. I remember back when PS2 used to have demo discs, I had a demo disc with Hitman, the original. And I had a lot of fun just playing that mission over and over again to see like what else I could do. But I'm in that, I think the majority of people that they literally try as best as they can every mission to approach it with as much stealth as possible. And then always something goes wrong. And then you're just going guns blazing and not caring what happens.
Fair enough. Roro?
I don't know if I'll try it right away, but it definitely looks fun. I played 2 a little bit recently to give it a shot to see if it was something that I would like. And I did enjoy it, and I thought it was cool, but I don't know if I'm going to get it day one. But so all these locations look beautiful, though. The China location and the Argentina one particularly are both really standing out to me. So I'll play it when I do. But yeah, maybe not right away.
That's fair. And like for people who haven't played the first 2 games, the value you get with 3 is amazing because they include all of the maps and missions from the first 2 games in an updated version in their new engine. So definitely recommend it for anyone who's new. Next story, guys. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order has been updated for both PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, which is very excited. Very excited. I'm just all over the place today. Very exciting. So the cool thing here is on Series X, the dynamic resolution is actually going to increase up to 2160p, which is 4K on Series X. And the performance mode on Series X will hit 60 frames per second and scale up to 1440p, which is, honestly, I may go back to this game and play another playthrough just to play in this new version. On PlayStation 5, it's been increased to 60 frames per second as well. The weird thing here is the resolution's a little different. It's set to 1440p when it's not in performance mode, and then when you're in performance mode, it lowers to 1200p. So it's kind of interesting there that it's a little bit different than the Series X, but I am very excited to check this out. And is this going to convince you guys to go back to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order?
Not yet, because it's still very fresh for me, even though it's over a year ago. But I had a lot of fun. Obviously, I considered it my game of the year 2019. It is an amazing game. That's great. I'm glad I have it digitally because I can just transfer it over to my PS5 in that
going to
case.
convince you guys to go back
I
to
believe
Star Wars
I'll have to look into
Jedi
that part.
Fallen Order?
But still, it is a great game. If you have not played it, buy it. Or probably Xbox Game Pass, wouldn't you say, Daniel?
Yes, yeah.
It's the EA game?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. But still awesome. I'll still say this because I want to talk so much smack because I really actually want to play it on a next-gen system or a current-gen system. Thank God they went this route instead of the route that Control went.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I would definitely like to replay it. I don't have a PS5 or Xbox Series X yet, but I do love that game, and it is a really good game. So I'm happy that it's getting the treatment. So whenever I do get the PS5 and I have nothing to play at the time, if the new Star Wars games haven't come out yet, or maybe they're bad for some reason, and I just want to play a good Star Wars game, I can play a new and improved Fallen Jedi Order. So I'm excited for that to survive. I think it's good, and as Sean was saying, I'm glad they didn't do any tomfoolery and make it all sneaky. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, make you buy an ultimate version of the game
Yeah.
and charge you full price again. Yeah. Ugh, Control. Freaking. Anyways, moving on to our next story, guys. Cyberpunk 2077 is back in the news. The next-gen enhancement apparently is not coming until the second half of 2021. And CD Projekt Red's co-founder has explained the roadmap and kind of what happened at launch, which I thought was kind of fascinating. I won't go over the whole thing of what he was talking about, but I did think it was fascinating that the next-gen versions are so late, so it's essentially going to be a year later than what the current-gen version released on. But they have detailed that patch 1.1 and patch 1.2 are coming very soon. I think the first one's supposed to be out this month at some point. And then I believe they had already said the second one would be February, like late February. But I don't know how many optimization patches it's going to take them to get the console versions into a state that is actually in a good state. But I really hope that when this does finally launch on next gen this fall, that it is very good and not what we saw with the current gen or last gen, I guess now. What are your guys' thoughts? I personally haven't played Cyberpunk in a while, like 2 to 3 weeks maybe, and at this point I'm kind of thinking to myself, like, I have so many other things going on right now, like maybe I just set that aside for now and then I'll jump back in when more enhancements come out. But I'm feeling like right now I'm going to want to wait till those enhancements come, but not wait till the fall, because Halo Infinite comes this fall and that's going to destroy everything for me in terms of time. So I don't know. What are you guys planning on doing about this?
Yeah, it's going to be a while until I play it as well. As I mentioned before with the last story, I don't have a next gen current gen console right now. Yep. And my laptop is not the best, and my PS4 won't run it very well. So it's going to be a while until they do that, and the improvements that they make on PS4 and current gen systems, I don't even know if I want to even risk it there. And I feel like I should just wait for the next gen version and play it on PS5 there, because I don't feel at this point like the conversation is gone. I don't feel like I need to be in the hype conversation now, because it's already passed. So I can wait to play it in later this year or whenever and try it out then, because I do want to go back to it. I do want to experience it, but I'm in no rush right now. And I, as you were mentioning a little bit in the beginning of this, how the internal team at CD Projekt Red, apparently they didn't know about the issues. Report from IGN, they're saying this, and each day at work they saw significant improvements every day with the performance, but obviously they didn't, because when it released on PS4, like it's either they're lying or they just completely didn't look at what they were testing. Yeah. So it was interesting to read that too. But yeah, I do want to play it eventually, but it's going to be a while until I do.
They were either lying or they were blindfolded the entire time they were testing.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Sean, what are you doing about that?
If I'm being honest, at this point, I do own it. I bought it on my Series X. I am looking at it as I don't think that it's broken on the Series X. I do want to preface that. I have not had any problems with any glitches from the amount that I had played. But at this moment, there are games that interest me more than Cyberpunk. And I said this to begin with when I even before I purchased the game, as far as how I was looking for this whole thing. So it's really not a priority for me to be kind of thinking that I need to get back to this. And honestly, I'm okay with waiting until the quote unquote next gen version comes out with all the upgrades. I can only imagine how beautiful it'll look on the Series X to begin with. And if it's optimized for that now too, I mean, I think only better in that sense. I've seen some videos of PC players and just seeing what they see, and me thinking possibly I could not see that kind of bums me out. But there's so many good games out right now, even for if you have those next gen systems or current gen, again, muddy in the waters at this point. But like, there's so many other good games that you could play, and it's not like Cyberpunk's not going away. I think CD Projekt Red made a lot of mistakes leading up to this. I 100% agree with that. But I don't think they're going to let you down when it's finally ready for you. I am bummed, though, it is taking that long to get ready. Yeah. But I think just like Hello Games did with No Man's Sky, it's possible that it's going to come back bigger and better than ever.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on to our final news story, which we just added literally seconds before we went live, when Sean yelled to me, "Hey, did you see this?" And I said, "Okay, let me add this." Apparently the Hogwarts game, I believe Hogwarts Legacy, is it? Is that right?
Hogwarts Legacy, yeah.
Okay. It has been delayed to 2022 now, which a lot of people have been very excited about this game in terms of like the idea of it for so long now, even before it was revealed, that I think that it was at the point where it was at the maximum hype. So they had to announce it, even though they may not have necessarily been ready to announce it. So it does kind of suck that it's delayed, but I think with every good game that, gets delayed, I mean, Cyberpunk's not a good example of that because it got delayed 3 times and it's not good. But hopefully this just means that they're going to avoid a situation like that, and they can make the best game they can. Are you guys concerned about this at all, or are you still cautiously optimistic?
I would say, given the events of the last 10, 11 months, no. I mean, it's to be expected that any game that was either 50% or 60% done, and I'm just throwing out percentages, I feel like it should be expected that those games are going to get delayed. I think that Halo Infinite is probably, in my mind, the only delay that is one that I think you can pretty much guarantee is coming out this year. Other than that, it would not surprise me a lot of other games getting even further pushed back, because just because the vaccine's out does not mean that we're done with all this stuff yet. Developers need that interaction with each other, like almost on a face-to-face. So it's understandable. And this is 2 studios making it. Portkey Games, made by WB Games. That's their own in-house studio. And then Avalanche Studio, who used to do Disney Infinity. Yep. So, I mean, that's 2 studios, 2 sets of teams working on one pretty epic game that'll probably have a lot of pressure on its shoulders, being a very, very valued licensed game. So they're going to try to make sure they get it right.
Yeah, and I completely agree. I just wish that we didn't date games so far from their release. Yeah. I want more Fallout 4 type announcements where they're ready. They announce it, the game comes out in a couple of months, or even if you do want to release it a year in the future, just make sure you're ready to do that when you're announcing it. I don't mind you showing off a trailer and there being no date. You can announce it if you want to, get us excited. But when you're ready for the date, make sure it is the date, please.
Yes.
I'm so sorry about these. Not sorry. So upset about these delays. I'm totally for it. I expect delays to happen, and when they do happen, they're usually for the better. But I just wish that they didn't jump the gun so often, because it is annoying.
Yes, I agree. You are correct, Roro. And I don't know. We've talked about it for so long about delays, so
Yeah.
I don't need to harp on it anymore.
But I again, like Sean was saying, the COVID stuff, it was in a way out of nowhere. So
Yeah.
I understand to an extent some of these developers being caught off guard by the pandemic. I just really, yeah.
Yeah.
It just sucks. It just sucks for everybody, for the developers, for the players, for everybody.
Yes, agreed. Moving into the games we are playing, guys. I have not played anything in the last week. I've been very busy doing a lot of stuff, so I've only been playing Master Chief Collection as usual. So, with little tidbits here and there that I've had time for. So, I did rewatch the entire team up parts of the MCU though. I was watching those while doing other things. So. Little fun thing.
Deadpool 3.
Yeah, Deadpool 3. That's gonna be good. Roro, what have you been playing?
So I recently started Final Fantasy IX. It was on Xbox Game Pass. I was like, I've heard good things. I want to get to start playing more Final Fantasies, and I'm really enjoying it so far. The story is pretty good. Obviously, it's a PlayStation 1 game, so in some ways it's a little bit dated. It's an improved version, so the characters are really well done, but the backgrounds are still the same from PS1. So it looks it's jarring to see the HD characters and the SD backgrounds, I guess you could say. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm going to continue playing it for sure. And besides that, more Destiny. That's about it. More Destiny. Yeah.
So I bought it maybe like a week and a half ago or 2 weeks, but I've been playing the Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition on PS5. Looks gorgeous. I never actually beat 5 when it came out in 2019 on the PS4, but I am actually really loving it on the PS5. Mostly because of the haptic feedback. I was very surprised that they included that with almost a remaster, I guess you could say. Because you actually feel when you're revving up Nero's sword, because that's kind of one of the shticks of his, you feel that kind of giving weight to you. So it's actually really cool. I've almost beaten it, and then I'm gonna move on to the Virgil DLC. That wasn't in the original, and I always like playing that. They always have some Virgil special edition thing when it comes to that. And then also this afternoon, I played the demo for Little Nightmares 2 on the Switch. That is out today, which I liked Little Nightmares, the first one. This is a little bit more of the same. Looks a lot prettier too, but it's a very creepy, almost inside game, I guess you could say. It'll probably give a lot of people Inside or oh crap, what's the other one, Daniel? I'm just drawing a blank right now. Limbo, thank you.
Yeah.
It'll give a lot of people that, but just obviously a different aesthetic with the puzzles and a little bit obviously more horror elements to it, but really cool. Free, try it out. I plan on hopefully I'm off this weekend. I'm actually going to start Hyrule Warriors this weekend.
Nice. Cool. All right. Moving into the topic of the show, ladies and gentlemen. We got this news, I believe Monday. Lucasfilm Games has risen in the ashes of LucasArts. So, essentially, LucasArts was, a developer that made Star Wars content, and they made Star Wars, or were working on Star Wars 1313 when they were canceled or shut down by Disney. They were purchased by Disney, and then they were shut down shortly thereafter. So the interesting thing with this, guys, is Star Wars games will now all be brought together under the Lucasfilm Games banner, which means no more EA exclusivity, although there are unannounced EA projects still coming. So the interesting thing here is they have the exclusivity through, I believe, 2022. So essentially, I would probably bet on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2 for 2022 as kind of their closing thing for this exclusivity deal before the gauntlet is thrown out there. But I do think it's very interesting now that they are essentially treating this the same way that Marvel is treating their universe, and essentially giving developers access to their characters and letting them make great games. And you see that with Spider-Man, you see that with Avengers by Crystal Dynamics, even though that one's a little bit...
take away that great games part.
I mean, yeah, that one's a little bit more dicey, but I mean, it's still got decent reviews. It's not like it bombed or anything. But sales-wise, yes, it did bomb. But I do like this very much because I feel like we're gonna get a lot more unique Star Wars content now. We're not gonna be stuck in the pigeonhole of whatever the heck EA decides to do, because obviously they're only approving certain projects, and we saw that when they shut down Visceral Games and canceled their Project Ragtag, I think is what it was called. But what are you guys most looking forward to in terms of this new Lucasfilm Games banner? Like, is it a game, a Star Wars game you want to see, or something else?
For me, it is definitely more Star Wars. Like you were saying, it's super cool that they're allowing other developers to jump in and make their own version or their own vision of the game. I was watching the Kind of Funny podcast today, and just like everybody was pitching their own Star Wars game that could happen. And there were some really good ones. Like Imran said, a Mizo, like a Dynasty Warriors type Star Wars game. Like, oh, now I really want that. And Paris mentioned a Bungie game, but a Star Wars Bungie game. It's like, oh, that'd be perfect.
Yes.
So I really hope that, I don't know if that'll happen, but it's in my head now, and I would love that that's happened. But yeah, I think it's great. And I like this approach, the Marvel Games approach, as you mentioned. So yeah, I'm excited for more Star Wars games that are not EA games as well. Not because Battlefront wasn't that great. I know it's changed a lot since its release. But and of course, Jedi Fallen Order was fantastic, but that's mostly to do with Respawn, I think.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm excited to get more Star Wars for sure.
Yeah. So mine's a little two-pronged. One is obviously the Star Wars license. I like that it's no longer on EA because, in my opinion, EA only made one good Star Wars game that whole time, and that was in 2019 finally. So just stupid on that part. Like I don't understand why in my opinion they failed that license. They had so many opportunities to be successful and they did not. But I feel like that opens the door for that to happen. I think that it can totally be different than the Marvel I guess video game universe, because I think you can have non-connected Star Wars games where I think it's weird that you have non-connected Marvel games. I feel like those should be connected. Star Wars doesn't necessarily have to be. And obviously we're going to get a new trilogy probably in the next 10 years that has nothing to do with the Skywalkers, with all that stuff going on. Honestly, what I would love, and this is just me selfishly, is them to go to weird Star Wars. I loved Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer on the N64. It was an incredibly frustrating game. I know it's on the Switch, and I think you can get it on the PS4 and Xbox One, but that was an awesome game. I loved that game as a kid. Like, I tried to get every single course, race everything perfectly, because you could not advance unless you had first place. So it was such a great game that that's one of my fondest memories. And the other thing is, maybe outside of the Star Wars universe, we'll get back to point-and-click adventure games that are really, really detailed, that LucasArts was known for, even more than they were as far as Star Wars. Monkey Island, Grim Fandango, Day of the Tentacle. I'm not saying those specifically licenses, but like get the weird back in games type of thing. And they were very well known for that.
So kind of on the back of this, we got news just today, I believe, that Ubisoft is making an open world Star Wars game with Massive taking the lead on it. So the interesting thing here to me is, what the heck is Massive doing? Like, Massive is working on an Avatar game right now, so I guess half of Massive is working on Avatar and half of them is working on a new Star Wars game. They're not working on Division anymore, I guess. I mean, I know Ubisoft traditionally has like 20 developers working on every single game they make, it seems like, but like taking the lead on another big licensed property, that's kind of surprising to me that Massive is doing this. Does it surprise you at all, Roro, that Massive is kind of taking on another tentpole franchise, both owned by Disney too?
Yeah. A little. Like you were saying, I'm sure they have a big team working on both games, but don't want to stretch themselves too thin. They did recently mention, I think, responding to this the situation, saying that don't worry, we're big enough to handle both. But yeah, it is a little worrying. I wouldn't be surprised if the Star Wars game honestly gets put first against the Avatar one. They prioritize that more, and then the Avatar one gets pushed back a bit. But yeah, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah. Sean, which one are you more excited for? The Avatar game from them or the Star Wars game?
At this point, neither, because we have no information on anything. Why are they pushing themselves so thin on a game that's not even released? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Avatar, I don't understand why people always call it like a huge license and all that stuff. It had one movie.
Yeah.
And one movie almost like, I think it came out when I was in high school. So that was like at least 2006. Like it was a pretty cool movie at the time, but
I think it was 2009, if I remember right.
Was it? I thought I was in high school, but I can't remember.
Yeah, 2009.
Okay, but regardless, it's been one movie, and then James Cameron has been working on like 9 other movies in the Avatar franchise now for like 10 years. So it's like I don't really necessarily needed that game, but maybe you're right. Maybe they do have 2 teams, but let's see what everything looks like. Now, if it is an open world game, and if it's Knights of the Old Republic getting revised, all right, then we're in. Then I'm good. But it's very hard for me, for anybody else now, to figure out Star Wars as well as Respawn just recently did. And I know, Daniel, you weren't a huge fan of the combat, but that really felt like that's how you do lightsaber combat to me. So it's just interesting how a new studio is going to take that head and try to pull off what Respawn just did, but in an open world format. And Knights of the Old Republic just makes sense to do it that way.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's not that I'm not a fan of the combat. I'm just not a fan of the counter system. I don't like how unforgiving the counter system is, as evidence to the second to last boss battle that I about destroyed my controller and wall and everything. So, but yeah, I tend to agree with you in terms of the Avatar stuff, because like you said, like Avatar has had one movie, and like it was a good movie, but like, don't get me wrong, but like it's one movie. I'm definitely more excited for the Star Wars game to come from Massive than I am Avatar. And actually, in Massive's engine is so well defined for like big open spaces, so I feel like that would be really cool for, like, you know, if you have a giant battle on Hoth or something. I don't know. It would just be super cool to kind of see that in action, because I don't know that we've ever gotten that scale of a campaign from Star Wars, at least for a long time. But moving on from that, guys, in my opinion, the most exciting news of the week was yesterday. We got news that an Indiana Jones game from Machine Games and Bethesda is making a freaking Indiana Jones game. Like, what? And this is also being executive produced by Todd Howard, who is the head of Bethesda Game Studios, which is the developer that makes Fallout and Elder Scrolls. So apparently they're saying that this won't affect Todd's work on Elder Scrolls 6 or Starfield, which I don't know how it wouldn't, because he's involved in another massive game. But the very, very exciting part about this is Machine Games, because Wolfenstein, both the first one and the second one and the spin-offs, have all been awesome, and the story and characters have been some of the highlights of those games. So like, I cannot wait to get my hands on. I think honestly, now with the Bethesda acquisition of Xbox, I think that this could be exclusive. It could be. I'm not saying it will. I'm saying it could be exclusive, and it could be essentially Xbox's answer to Uncharted. I don't know how excited were you.
It's 1,000% exclusive. I want to be
okay.
That is my just gut, heart, brain reaction. Is Phil Spencer has not just wanted a third-person action adventure game. He has wanted an Uncharted game, like specifically an Uncharted game itself. And what better game for an Uncharted than Indiana Jones, which Uncharted is based off of. I'm still a little wary on the license because I wasn't a huge fan of the Xbox PS2 Indiana Jones game, which I believe was the last one we got. It looked graphically impressive at the time, but it played very wonky in my opinion. But I mean, it is Bethesda Machine Games, like you said, so it could do very well. But this is 1,000% one of the things that Phil Spencer had in mind when he acquired Bethesda, which I don't think has officially still gone through yet.
Yeah,
but
it's supposed to happen in June, I believe.
Exactly. This is the type of caliber game that they wanted. I get it, Skyrim and all that stuff. Indiana Jones will sell though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with Sean. I think it's going to be exclusive, and I do think it is going to be a big selling point as well for Xbox. I saw so many people popping off and getting excited when they announced it on Twitter yesterday, I think it was. Yeah. But I think it's awesome. I played the Wolfenstein games; they're super fun. So I'm excited to see what they do with Indiana Jones, Dr. Jones. So I'm definitely excited to see this a bit more. They did also mention that it'll be a while until we see more information again.
Yes.
God damn it. But I understand Lucasfilm seems to be doing a week of announcements. We'll see tomorrow, but they announced on Monday. On Tuesday they announced this game, I think, and today they announced Ubisoft working on Star Wars. So we'll see if there's more. So I understand what they're doing, if that's what they're doing, but god dang, I want to see more. I want to see what type of game it is. I want to know if I should be excited.
Yeah,
it's a JRPG actually.
And I would be into it. Let's go.
And that is a fair point. I don't think this is going to be like a first person game like what Wolfenstein is. I would think that this would be more in the vein of Uncharted, where it's third person action adventure type of an experience. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Machine Games handles that. And the funny thing for me personally, I'm not even a big Indiana Jones movie fan. Like, I haven't even seen all of the movies, or like, I'm not a big fan of them. But
skip the fourth.
Yeah, Uncharted is literally the reason why this is exciting to me, because Uncharted, like you said, Sean, is based off of Indiana Jones. Like, that's the whole premise of Uncharted, essentially. So it has me very excited.
Like, literally in the fourth Uncharted, A Thief's End, they introduce you having a whip, like Indiana Jones. I mean, and you're evidently probably going to have that at the beginning of the game as Indiana Jones in that game. So it's like, as long as they don't put any alien crap in this game, we'll be fine.
Wait, was there alien stuff in the movies?
In the fourth one. And that's why that's one of the biggest reasons why everyone hates it.
Oh, no. All right.
I haven't seen that one then.
One more kind of interesting thing that I wanted to point out about this. Todd Howard teased this, and he may not have done this purposely, but he teased this months ago in a Zoom call that Jeff Keighley hosted that I was in for the Game Awards. Jeff was doing those weekly Zoom calls and Todd Howard was the guest on one of them. He had a little figure of an Indiana Jones like artifact or whatever sitting on the shelf behind him, and nobody batted an eye. And that was after Phil Spencer had already shown the Series S that he had behind him before that was announced. So my mind's blown. We should just pay attention to everyone's background. What is that? Is that a white door in your background there, Roro? Or are you hiding something behind that door?
No. I swear. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it is. I remember Phil Spencer. I think he had like the Xbox Series X in the background, or S in the background, one of his Zoom calls once. So yeah, always got to keep a lookout now.
Pretty much. The last thing I wanted to ask you guys, what is it that you want to see the most out of everything we talked about in terms of Lucasfilm Games or Star Wars or Indiana Jones? What is the number one thing that you want to see out of all of these things? I'll start with me to give you guys a second to think about it, but the number one thing I want to see is Todd Howard delivering on a game for the first time since pretty much Skyrim, because Fallout 4 was good, but it wasn't, great. It wasn't on Fallout 3 level. So I want to see Todd redeem himself. I love Todd Howard, and I think he's an awesome industry guy, and he kind of is the face, essentially, of a Bethesda game studio. So it'll be interesting to see his collaboration with Machine Games and how that affects Indiana Jones game. But I think the whole working from home thing with COVID right now has actually probably helped with this, because Todd Howard can be more involved. He doesn't have to be physically there, which I think is super, super cool. So yeah, that's the number one thing I want to see. I want to see the Todd father back on top.
KOTOR. A revival of KOTOR, to be honest. I mean, I can't stress enough for any young gamers out there, like, how well this series was, both 1 and 2. Like, it was, when you play that on the original Xbox, it was really one of those franchises and series that, like, you truly felt like embraced into the Star Wars universe itself, and the possibility of giving that series to somebody else, because I really doubt that BioWare will get their hands on it anymore, because maybe just left do Dragon Age at this point.
Yeah.
But to think that maybe there's a strong possibility that this could come back under some other company's umbrella is really exciting to me, that this is opening up those possibilities.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm honestly just more excited for more Star Wars. I know EA is not necessarily part of this deal, but I am excited for a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order whenever that comes. But I'm hoping that we get like not a Boba Fett Star Wars game, but like a Mandalorian, not the Mandalorian like the Disney show, but like you play as a bounty hunter, I guess. But yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, that we get something. I still every day I kind of cry in bed about what could have been the Amy Hennig Star Wars game. So I would love something like that, a story-driven, like maybe a third-person adventure Star Wars game. So that's something that I'm hoping comes out of this for sure. Even though we got that with Jedi Fallen Order, but I would like the Bounty Hunter one.
That sounds so good. The Bounty Hunter Star Wars game. Yes, please. I'm signing up.
Let's not bring up 1313.
Yeah. Fair point. Yeah. Fair point. Okay, guys. That's it for the topic of the show. Our final news segment. What are you working on? So I thought this would be a kind of a cool segment to, just highlight things that we're doing currently, I guess. The only thing I'm doing right now is I'm trying to work on some YouTube content, but I have not gotten there yet. I bought a new camera to replace my other one because it was very cumbersome and difficult to deal with. So I've got that mounted on my wall now, so it's a little cleaner. My desk is a mess right now because I literally spent to the last second before the podcast to get it set up, but it'll be nice moving forward. So yeah, look out for Oh, I just got stuck in my throat. Look out for some YouTube content maybe coming soon. So,
Nice.
Roro, I saw you posted a little blog, and you have a fancy new website. I don't think you had the website before, did you? For Thank You Games?
No, I didn't. No,
Yeah.
my girlfriend had a website. She made a website a while, or like I think early 20 or late 2018. She started it, and then she decided she didn't want it anymore, but she still had like the year subscription on Squarespace. So she gave me that. So I'm going to take over the website now. So I developed a Thank You Games website, or didn't develop it. I just took a theme and wrote on it. But yeah, so if you go on thankyougames.com, you can see games that I would like to review in the future, and opinions and stuff like that. But yeah, it's definitely very early on, but you can go over there and check out some of my written stuff.
Sweet.
And that's kind of what I'm working on right now. Yeah.
Sweet. I saw your most recent one was 15 indies that are going to be special, and there's a lot of stuff on there that was just announced at Game Awards, even like crap, I forget the names of them, but the quirky one in the car and
Road 96 or something.
Yes.
And Season was a big one that people really liked, I noticed.
Yes. Yeah. Lots of good stuff there. So definitely check it out. I think that's it. Anybody have anything else to add before we close? Sean, I know you create massive amounts of content out there, so I know you are working on some important things.
Well, I'm just, protecting our most elderly humans out in the world with, the COVID vaccine. It's okay. Am I a hero? Yes. I mean, it's okay to just call me that and give me praises. Just follow me on my Twitter handle at @RealDonaldTrump.
God, no!
All the lies that I spout.
You won't see anything now. God. Oh, Sean.
No, but I know you said you and I talked last week, but that is part of the reason why I've been so intermittently out after the holiday season. This is whole ramped up, and so it's been generally about 15-hour, 16-hour days because you have to input all into the government that day that you give a vaccine. So it's been very time consuming for me. So sorry about my sporadicness when it comes to being on the podcast.
All right. Well, I know our listeners are glad to have you back, Sean, despite what they say. I still don't agree.
You would agree.
Thank you again to everyone joining us both live on YouTube and on Twitch as well now, and on podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Stitcher. Thank you, Roro. Thank you, Sean. I am Daniel, and this has been Podcast PXN, and we are out. Much love, and keep on gaming.
Deuces.
See ya.